While I was repairing the roof after a leak, my uncle stood at the edge with his phone, narrating to the guests. Look at him, thinking he's useful. I was fixing the roof at my grandmother's house. She'd called me at 6 a.m., voice shaking. Water was dripping into her bedroom, ruining the carpet, pooling near the electrical outlets. She was scared. I told her I'd be there in 2 hours. Stopped at Home Depot, bought shingles, sealant, underlayment, $300 out of my own pocket. She was on a fixed income. I wasn't going to let her pay. When I got there, she had coffee waiting. Her hands were trembling as she showed me the damage. The leak had been going on for weeks, but she didn't want to bother anyone. I told her she should have called sooner. She said she didn't want to be a burden. I got to work. It was July, mid-90s, no cloud cover. The roof was black tar shingles that had been baking in the sun since 9 a.m. Every time I touched them, they burned through my gloves. My shirt was soaked through in 20 minutes. Around noon, I heard cars pulling up, voices, laughter. My uncle's voice carried up to the roof. Set the tables over there. Make sure the champagne stays cold. I looked down. He was hosting a garden party, right there, in my grandmother's backyard. She was standing on the porch looking confused, still in her nightgown. He waved up at me. Keep working, nephew. We'll try to keep it down. His friends arrived in Mercedes and BMWs, country club types, polo shirts, khakis, boat shoes. They set up a whole buffet on folding tables, popped bottles, turned on music. My grandmother went inside. I kept working. Then I heard him, loud, projecting, like he was giving a toast. That's my nephew up there. See him, philosophy degree from state. Thought he was going to change the world. His friends chuckled. Now he patches roofs for grandma because, well, nobody's hiring philosophers these days. Someone said, what does he do for work? Oh, he teaches, my uncle said, voice dripping with condescension. Part-time, I think, at some community center or something. Very noble. More laughter. One woman said, well, at least he's finally doing something useful. I looked down. My uncle had his phone out, pointed up at me, recording, making sure to get the wide shot. Me, sweating, covered in tar, struggling with shingles while they sipped champagne below. He zoomed in on my face, then panned to the party. The contrast, the joke. I didn't say anything. Just finished the section I was working on, packed my tools, and climbed down. My grandmother came outside as I was loading my truck. Sweetheart, are you finished? No, I said, but I have to go. Please don't leave because of him, she whispered. I didn't know he was coming. It's fine, Grandma. I'll come back next weekend. I drove home. Didn't check my phone until I got there. The video was already posted. Facebook, public, my uncle's caption, family discount labor, my nephew earning his keep. At least that philosophy degree is good for something. Manual labor, 43 comments. Most from his friends laughing along, a few from distant relatives I barely knew. That's hilarious. Good for him, getting his hands dirty for once. Maybe he'll learn a real trade. My mom called that night. Your uncle feels terrible. He was just joking around. He posted it publicly, Mom. He's family. You know how he is. I hung up. What my uncle didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I'd been teaching ethics at the state correctional facility for 3 years. It started as a volunteer position while I was finishing my PhD. Then they offered me a full-time role. Last month, they promoted me to Director of Educational Programs. 35 facilities, 200 instructors under me, 6-figure salary. I didn't tell my family because they'd already made up their minds about what I was worth. 2 weeks after the roof incident, my uncle got arrested. Tax fraud, wire fraud, falsifying business documents. It made the local news. His law firm dropped him. The country club revoked his membership. 6 months later, as part of his plea deal, the judge ordered him to complete 200 hours of court-mandated ethics education. Guess whose program he got assigned to? I made sure I taught the first session myself. Walked in, saw his face go pale. I set my phone on the desk, angled toward him, recording. Welcome to Ethics 101, I said. Let's talk about humility. He completed the course, never spoke to me during it. I finished my grandmother's roof the next weekend. She's fine now. My uncle isn't invited to family events anymore.